All right, so I might be in casual attire outside of my normal videos, but this is not a casual live stream. We're going to be covering why the next wave of millionaires is going to be coming from trades workers and those with businesses around the boom in trade work. I'm going to be explaining and breaking down as a business banker by trade how to turn yourself into a millionaire as a trades worker, not from the perspective of how to go out there and do the work, but how to manage the money that you're going to make from the work. So we need to put context around this. As always, the opportunity for trades work is enormous for now to the next 5, 7 or so foreseeable years. A lot of work. We're talking about 6 to 7 figures in job number openings coming up that are either there now or coming up in the future. We're talking about electricians, plumbers, carpenters, welders, like all of your, traditionally abandoned trade skills are coming back around and gaining relevance again. What makes this so powerful is what I said in the first live stream around this I did, which for all of you coming in new, this is really a part 2, to be honest, kind of requested by one of my pioneers, a few of my pioneers, to dive in deeper on this about how to set yourself up as a millionaire, from trades work. So what I said in the first one that made this important was you get the opportunity to hit the ground running in somewhere around 6 months, a year, give or take in time, depending on how long it takes you to get your certification or license under your belt in your respective field. You're talking about hitting the ground with a really respectable paying, high paying job with no college debt. That in itself is enormous. Great job demand, great amount of work available for you when you get out there, but you don't have 5 to 6 figures in college debt when you get out to get it. So you also don't have the threat, generally speaking, of AI like a lot of college, background careers have. We've been all pushed down this pathway for a long time, all to get to a point in our generation and lifetime, those of you who might be maybe in like your 40s and younger, where maybe even arguably 50s and younger, if we're talking about the next maybe next decade or so. AI is threatening a lot of industries. The hell with just jobs. They're threatening industries, physical human labor demanding industries. So as a trades worker, you're at the back of that line. I'm not saying one day they won't have like complete AI robots that, are doing plumbing and electrical work on their own. I don't know if it's going to get that far or not, but right now for the foreseeable future, that is not in the cards. So this is a tremendous opportunity where there will be genuine millionaires. The goal of this live stream is to hope that it gets out to a decent handful of people that themselves can take this content and make themselves a millionaire in time. Use the information in this live stream to set the foundation and the framework. So again, I'm a business banker by trade, so I work with business clients. So my goal is to give you the blueprint, if you will, on how to set yourself up as a self-employed / solopreneur business owner and graduate yourself into an employer as a business owner, but mostly around managing the money and all of the phenomena that come with that to make sure you're successful. Because a lot of you already work trades or people who work trades. It's not really a matter of making money. It's like the people who work at plants or do truck driving at a higher level. The money is not really the problem. The problem generally comes in understanding how to make sure that that money is actually working for you and actually helping to build that financial legacy and not just coming in and out of your hands. So that's what this live stream is really all about. I see a handful of y'all coming in the building. Hell, it is always a pleasure to have you come in the building on the live stream. I feel like I don't get it enough, so it's a gift. Shout out to you coming in. Shout out to a few of y'all who I can't understand what your name is on here, but shout out to everybody coming in. Make sure y'all leave a like as y'all come in the building. Let me know y'all coming in the building and make sure you leave a thumbs up on the video. So let's get right into this. There's a pathway of success when you're a trades worker that I've seen firsthand. To be transparent, trades work was some of the first work I ever did as a young man. I came out of the gate, really one of the first things I was doing was plumbing work. So I got firsthand experience, and my father was a carpenter for his whole working years after the military. So I have a lot of personal experience and exposure to trades work. The difference between those who do that type of work and actually build real careers or manage to go into business and actually create real success for themselves versus the ones who bust their ass for 20, 30, 40 years doing it and never are able to retire or never able to stop doing the work and never really had much to show for it is what I'm going to be covering in this live stream, which is going to be centered around money management and creating a structure around yourself that perpetuates growth, that creates sustainability and perpetuates growth. That is what's missing. My father is an example of that, and many men that I saw doing this work when I was doing plumbing work are other examples of that. Y'all make sure y'all leave a like as y'all come in the building. There we go. I see some thumbs up starting to slowly creep in. Y'all make sure y'all leave a like. Hello to everybody coming in, even though I don't know how to pronounce half of y'all names and tags. But at the end of the day, this is the difference. And this is why this is so important. So what does it look like once you've gotten yourself licensed and gotten over the hump and officially doing trades work? Or if you're already there and you're just catching this content, or you're related to somebody who's there catching this content, and you're like, what is the next steps to organizing myself as an actual structure? How do I go from just being a licensed trade worker at some job or working for some company or doing pickup work here and there to turning this into a full-fledged operation that will scale and grow and create sustainability and consistent business for me, that will help me take the money that I'm earning and actually turn it into real wealth, actually turn it into real legacy money? That's what we're about to get into in this live stream. So what that looks like, first off, of course, is getting your license, getting yourself licensed and getting yourself situated. Not going to spend a lot of time on that. That's obvious stuff. Once you've gotten over that threshold, this is where, as a business maker, I kick in and I'm like, all right, cool. We have operational capacity now. Cool. Now we need to start organizing ourselves. What does that look like? We need to incorporate ourselves. Like right out of the gate, you need to incorporate yourself. The bare minimum you can do is to be a sole proprietorship. That is extremely limited in its benefits and its functionality, but it is a step up from just staying in your personal banking relationship. So to back up a little bit, a lot of people who are solopreneurs out there in any industry, but especially trades workers, have a bad habit of functioning their business in their personal finances. Like literally everything's running through their personal bank account. They're getting paid in their personal name, filing taxes in their personal name, etc. The first thing we want to focus on is, how do we start becoming a real structure? When I do any work in this field, especially any side work that's not tied to a W-2, how do I get myself in credit? Cousin, my God, I see you. You know I wasn't going to let you creep in the building without saying something. You know I wasn't going to creep in the building without letting you say something. So without saying something. So how do I get myself situated where I am creating a structure, an actual formidable structure, not just another worker out in the field? You have a license as a trades worker, you are a gold mine, because you have the ability to not only go out and get good work as a high paid employee, and in this world, in this day and age, relatively consistent work, but you have the opportunity to self-employ yourself at any point in time. For those of you who have the grind and the hustle, you can leave your W-2 as a trades worker and go out and work on your own whenever you're ready. Not a lot of us that have these various career backgrounds can do that. We can't just, go out from what we're doing with no repercussions, no conflict of interest, etc., and go do the same work we do at our job on the side. We don't have that luxury without taking tremendous risk of our jobs. You can literally, without hiding it, without running from anybody, can take your plumbing, your electrical background, plumbing background, carpentry background, welding background, if you have the energy, the time, and the structure, and go out and self-employ yourself and get extra money and build revenue. That is an absolute gift. That is an absolute gift or skill set. Absolute gift. So what that means is you need to take it seriously and incorporate yourself. Immediately incorporate yourself. Think of a business name. I always recommend secure a domain name shortly after that, because a lot of people incorporate and create a business entity. Then they get the website or whatever the case may be, landing page, and they find out the name they picked is already bought up as a domain name. So I've had the hack for some years, recommended to my business clients, come up with a business name, double check an available domain name, and then go to the Secretary of State and the IRS and create an entity. Are y'all keeping up so far? Then go to the IRS and the Secretary of State and start creating an LLC or a corporation based on your specific situation. I am not directly your banker, so I cannot sit up and advise you on which is the best route. I'm also not a tax professional. I am brilliant at my craft as a banker, as a lender, etc. But I understand taxes, but I'm not a tax professional. So it is up to you to do the due diligence for liability purposes and tax purposes on how to situate yourself as an entity, LLC, corporation, partnership, whatever you got going on, that's up to you to figure out. But do it ASAP after you get your license, or as soon as you possibly can, or as soon as you get this content sent to you, or you watch it. Get incorporated. Take yourself seriously, right? So be a rebel like me. So the next step is, once you're incorporated, you've got a domain name set up, you got the Secretary of State set up, you got your EIN number set up. Now you can walk into me as the business banker at a quality institution and do your homework. Don't just pick the random business banker at the local branch and just don't go feel your way around. I am a diamond in the rough, and I'm not bragging. I'm just being honest, because I don't want you to get this wrong. I am not the normal. The level of work that I'm doing, that I'm putting in, the knowledge base, the studying I do, the seriousness. My clients have events and stuff going on. I'm there. Like, I'm that business banker. Like, literally, my clients are hosting events and they're like, oh, my banker's in the back. Like, right here. So you need to find somebody who's damn serious about what they do, that's been doing it for a while. What I would recommend is no less than like 5 years. Like, I wouldn't even touch it if it's less than 5 years. And ideally knocking on the door around 7 to 10. I need to know you've been doing this, and I need to feel my way around and know that you actually help people do something with their businesses and not just take their damn deposits and hook them up to a machine or two to run their money through, and that's it. What do you have? When I go out to network, a lot of times my networking is off the back of existing business clients. They're already bringing me along and vouching for me. Listen, if you want to be on the track that I'm on with my business, this is my banker. He's the one helping me manage my finances. That is what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody who's literally going to walk with you as legally and on a regulatory level as close as they possibly can without getting themselves fired. So you want to find somebody with 5, 7, 10 years experience that is an actual business banker. That is the focus of what they do. That can help you on the personal banking side, but can actually help you on the business banking side. So you got your Secretary of State, you got your IRS, you got your domain name set up. Wonderful. Let's walk over and find one or two quality financial institutions that is accessible to you, and go shop bankers. Go shop bankers. Set up a business banking relationship. You should probably already have a personal banking relationship there. If not, set that up too, but set up a business banking relationship. My recommendation is, hopefully you're already making money in your craft and you have the money and the revenue and all of that set up to hit the ground running. If you're not there yet and you just got your license and you're just finding your way around on clientele, or you're still finding a job or just got in at the job, no problem. Take excess capital. $500 to $1,000 at most financial institutions is plenty to get into a savings account or a checking account there with no service fees, and sit that money in there and use that as your segue to start having pre-structured conversations with your business banker on what your goals are and how they can help you reach them. Is everybody following me so far? If you're watching the replay, comment down below, because I'm responsive. Everybody that's in the building on the chat, I'm seeing a bunch of thumbs up starting to creep in and getting active in the chat. Is everybody following me so far? Absolutely. See what I'm talking about? Next code, North American Industry Classification Code. That is literally important when you're setting up your business entity. I didn't touch on that for a reason, because most of you as trades workers, you have a predestined next code. You don't need to go into the weeds like real estate investors do, consultants do. You're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're a welder, you're a carpenter. There's straight next codes for that. There's industry classifications codes for that, but you do need that to set up your business bank account and to get insurance. Please go get insurance. Let me stop everything I'm doing and close the laptop. Please go get insurance. If you are out here like wiring people's houses and plumbing their houses and hanging stuff up, the likelihood of something happening is higher than somebody who's walking in that does consulting and just got to crack their laptop open and look cute for a few minutes and walk out. You are in a high risk industry when it comes to liability. Please go get insurance. All right, next. So let me see. I might have a question. At what point do you think someone should get a banker? Is there a dollar amount? Brilliant question, since we're at that point. JC, brilliant question. I'm going to take a second to actually answer that. I just gave the scenario when a tradesperson, and really anybody that's in a small business, you can follow a similar sequence, but I'm focused on trades workers in this live stream. But if you are looking, and maybe I should clarify as well, are you talking about a personal banker or a business banker? A lot of times they cross over. But I'm just curious, are you a business owner or aspiring business owner, or are you talking about personal banker? And I'm gonna just kind of ramble until you maybe answer that question. It's not as much about a dollar amount. It's not as much about a dollar amount. Does it help to have money? You're dealing with the bank and the banker. Yes, the bank houses money and facilitates the transaction and the flow of money. So it helps to have money. But at the end of the day, I do think a lot of people, this is a great question, because my whole channel is dedicated around this stuff, and not enough people even feel comfortable that they can go get a banker. They don't even realize you can hire a banker, bro. You can hire a banker. So you should, personal finances or small business finances, you should hire a banker. Because at the end of the day, your money, people focus on making money. And then that is essential, by the way. I'm not about to criticize that like it's not important. It's very important. But nobody wants to take the time out to link up with the right professionals in the network to manage the fucking money. You have to manage it. The money does nothing for you but look cute for a second if you don't manage it. This is why you can get to the pinnacle of a sport, entertainment, make millions of dollars, and literally be homeless in a handful of years because you don't have money management. You don't have a plan, structure around the money. The money needs structure. It needs planning. It needs management. It is not just it comes in and I'm wealthy and life is done. It's complete. So you don't necessarily need a magic dollar amount. What I would recommend for you, something tangible, so that doesn't sound fluffy. Look at the financial institutions that you're looking to work with. And I mean in depth. I'm going to have to do another up-to-date live stream on that, because a lot of y'all bank just where your grandmama told you to bank. Your mom and them set your account up when you was young, and that's where y'all been banking at. It's effing stupid. Go be strategic about your bank, because your bank is extracting every bit of dollar out of you. Go get every dollar out of your bank that you can in resources and value, because they're getting every dollar out of you. But go focus on the banking relationships you want to set up and find out how much money you need to maintain those accounts without a service fee. That is a starting point. The next thing I would tell you to consider is, once you have a consistent income as a job or any kind of income, you need a banker. If you have a business and you're starting, you need a banker. Once there's money in your hands, flowing through your hands, you need a banker. At what scale you need a banker is a different conversation. You don't need a private client or a business banker if you're working a W-2 job at McDonald's. No disrespect. But at the end of the day, you just need a regular banker to give you the basics on cash flow management, managing your bank account, working your way into building fundamental credit. But some of you are at the upper 5-6-figure mark in your income. You got a real job, high-level career. Some of you have small businesses. You got 4 and 5 side hustles. You need a banker. You need a real banker. Let me see what you got going on, small business and personal. I have a good W-2, but I also do side contract work, and I have residential real estate property. I feel like I mix my stuff up too much. You're just who I was just describing. You're just who I was just describing just now when I was ranting. Some of you have rental property, a good W-2 job, and side income coming in, and you won't have anybody to help you manage and guide and structure that money. You absolutely need a banker. For you, if you don't mind, maybe tell me where you're banking at now, and I could probably answer that even more directly. But you need a banker. You need somebody like myself or higher that's dealing with 5, 6 figures and 7-figure clients. That is my clientele base. My clientele base is a good established working class, middle class, and upper class. That is upper class in the upper 6 to 7 figures in net worth. That's my clientele base. I'm also on a business banker side. I work with you from the inception of starting your business all the way up to about $1 million in revenue before I hand it off to a relationship manager, and work with the relationship manager with you still. I don't go away, but I actually bring another specialist in. Let me know where you're banking, and I might be able to let you know the type of banker that you need to focus on and go into that institution and start connecting with. If you got a good, stable W-2 job, you got good benefits, you got a 401k, you got rental property, or you own, even if you own your home, to be honest, you got side hustle money coming in, or 3, 4, 5 figures, whatever. You need a banker. You need a banker. I'm all over the place. SoFi, Chase, local credit union, and Fidelity. You are absolutely all over the place. I appreciate your honesty. So I'm going to tell you, Chase is great. They're going to have relationship bankers. They're going to, depending on what city and state you're in, they're going to be the highest ranking or competitively the highest ranking institution per quality banker. The relationship bankers there usually have, multiple different licenses and are a good starting point. You're going to have to shop because they don't all give a damn about what they do. But Chase is a great place to start because they can manage you all the way up the ladder to wealth management private bank if you go that far in your life. They can take you from where you are now with a good W-2, side hustle money, rental property, and graduate you all the way up to 6, 7, 8 figures. They can follow you all the way up the ladder. Chase is a great place. A credit union is a great place as well. In-person relationships to knock out the SoFis of the world. If you're talking about Fidelity Investments, that's great to maintain SoFi and Fidelity, but knock all of that ish out of the way. Get you in-person banking relationships. I'm talking about what I said a minute ago. Your bankers coming to your events or whatever the case may be. That's what you're looking for. So go start at Chase. That's a great place. Depending on the credit union you're working with, some of them are so small, the banks are hard to find ones that are really into it. But if it's decent enough and you can find somebody that can help you navigate their relationship, they can really be useful there as well. So where you are, to answer your question, you are absolutely prime for a banker, for sure. Do not commingle funds. Absolutely. Please do. This is what we got in the first place. And I need to get back on track, even though I love y'all engagement. Do not commingle funds. If you got side hustle money, W-2 money, and rental property money, you got 3 different banking relationships, my friend. You got 3 different banking relationships. That's a fact. Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the few YouTube channels that's monetized and still won't force you to do a super chat to answer a question, right? If you got rental property, you got side hustle, and you got W-2 income, you got 3 different banking relationships, my guy. You got 3 different banking relationships. You need to be structuring that out appropriately. Now, if you mix them once they've been organized and there's a reason to mix it up for some reason, then that's different. But origins of that money needs to be going in 3 different buckets. Keep that in mind. If you have money coming from any different source, especially if it's separated by tax status, a rental property, side hustle, and W-2 are 3 different tax buckets. That's the type of banking relationship you need, is to appropriate those out by case, right? So that's that. So what I'm recommending from this point is, if you are a trades worker, go scout for business banking relationships, personal and business banking relationships. Hopefully this whole spiel and this great question that JC asked me and everything I gave with that gave a lot of context around that. Leave a comment down below if you're looking for more specific context, whether you're on a live stream or watching the replay. Let me keep the ball rolling because we got more to cover. So what is it that I'm looking for my business banker to provide me to make this relationship graduate me to millionaire status as a trades worker? And anybody that's in any other small business, of course, can follow a lot of this blueprint. But again, it's dedicated to my trades worker. What are the 3 pillars to managing and structuring and planning around my money as a trades worker that's going to actually make me a millionaire? Cash flow management, lending, and retirement. I'm going to repeat this back to you. My business banking relationship and all the financial professionals that I'll eventually surround around me, because you need a team, should be helping me acquire and focus on 3 things from the money point of view. And then there's a couple other things I'm going to throw on the back end. Cash flow management, lending, retirement, an exit plan for my business as a trades worker. How do I get out of this one day? Because we all should be looking for an exit. The additional perks or the additional value adds you should be adding on: legal and insurance. Legal and insurance. I need cash flow management. I need business lending. I need retirement planning. And along the way of managing these 3, I need to make sure I'm legally protected and I'm insured. Take notes. Somebody let me know they're taking notes and paying attention. Somebody substantiate what I'm saying. So let's dive into those 3, because I'm not going to get too far in the weeds on insurance and legal, because I am not a life insurance professional, but I'm not that type of insurance. I'm not a liability insurance professional, and I'm not a legal professional. All right. On what? On what? Are you asking on what that I'm looking to substantiate? Or are you looking for on what with legal and insurance? What does on what mean? So cash flow management. Let's get in the weeds real quick on what this looks like. Cash management for small businesses is a process of monitoring, controlling, and optimizing the company's cash flow to ensure enough funds are available to meet short-term obligations and support long-term growth. Substantiation. I still don't know what you're asking me, my friend. I would like to answer your question, but let me know what you're asking me. So it involves managing cash inflows from customers and outflows to suppliers, employees, and other expenses, while also strategically handling surplus cash. Very important. Key activities include forecasting cash flow, managing receivables and payables, investing idle cash to maximize returns and minimize costs. That in itself is enough to shut the conversation down around cash flow management. Because everything I just said, how many of y'all are doing that with your personal or your business finances? Be honest. Everything I just read just now, just that paragraph, how many of y'all are truly doing that with your business or your personal finances? I can guarantee it's not that many of y'all. I can guarantee it. Key components of cash flow management: tracking and forecasting, optimizing working capital, managing expenses, investing idle cash, risk mitigation. So why is this important for small businesses? Ensures liquidity. A business can be profitable on paper, but still fall if it doesn't have cash on hand to pay its bills, employees, or other immediate costs. That's number one. Improve stability. How many of y'all like stability? By having a clear picture of cash flow, businesses can avoid surprises and maintain more stable operations. Stable operations sounds promising, doesn't it? Supports growth. Proper cash management frees up funds and provides financial stability, allowing a business to invest in growth opportunities and navigate unpredictable times. These are the three big reasons why cash management or cash flow management are essential. Any questions around that before we go to the next section? Any quick questions, feedback, anything? Any quick questions? All right. I'm effectively managing my business and personal finances with great perfection independently. Yeah, that's because you are a superhero, sir. You shouldn't even count. You like the Super Saiyan of money. Like I literally just like, you're like not fair, Harold. Like you don't even count. All right, y'all. Business lending. Business lending. Business lending is important for small businesses because it provides capital for growth and stability, enables them to cover operational expenses, make strategic investments like equipment purchases or expansion, and manage cash flow, especially during unpredictable downturns. If you're doing any kind of small business or side hustle, you know all about downturns. Access to loans helps businesses expand, hire staff, invest in technology, and create a financial safety net, which is crucial for long-term success. So what does business lending mean for operational needs? Managing cash flow. Loans help cover day-to-day expenses and manage cash flow, particularly during lean periods. Handling unexpected costs. They provide a financial safety net to maintain operations during unexpected events like a drop in sales or equipment failure. 3, meeting payroll and expenses. Businesses can use loans to ensure they can pay staff and suppliers on time. Imagine a good financial reputation with your vendors or your employees by paying them timely, even when your cash flow is not the best. For strategic growth, this is the next sector for business lending and the value of it. For strategic growth. Expansion. Loans can fund expansion by enabling the opening of new locations, increasing inventory, or acquiring a competitor. Investment. They allow businesses to invest in new equipment, technology, and other assets that are essential for staying competitive. Marketing and advertising. This is enormous, especially if you're just getting started. Funding can be used for marketing campaigns to increase brand visibility and attract new customers. For financial health is the third segment for business lending. Improving business credit. Successfully repaying a loan can build a strong business credit history, which can lead to better financing opportunities in the future. I like it. You like it? I like it. Strategic flexibility. Loans allow businesses to make strategic decisions to adapt to market changes and seize new opportunities. Avoiding investors. Taking out a loan can be a way to obtain capital without giving up ownership stakes to investors. Excuse me. That is big for a lot of you because a lot of you will rather go into debt than to give up ownership in your business. And I don't knock you for that. I can understand that. I see both sides of that equation, but I understand that. Any questions around business lending? Any feedback around business lending? All right. Cool. Hopefully y'all still following me so far. All right. The third pillar, retirement planning as a small business owner, an exit strategy. This is important. You do all of this work, you do all this cash flow management, all the ebbs and ties and ups and downs of being a business owner, etc. One day, wouldn't it be nice to have that nest egg built up, the assets and revenues built up where you can either step away from the business and have it operational still, sell the business, retire off a lump sum. What does that look like? How many of you are even working a side hustle or business and have retirement in place right now? A lot of you don't. A lot of you, especially if you're like self-employed, a lot of you don't. I know firsthand because I do it for a living. A lot of y'all don't even exercise your retirement benefits at your W-2 job. That's a whole nother conversation. But a lot of you go into business or into side hustles or own investment properties and all this other stuff and don't have retirement plans put in place. So let's talk about it. Retirement planning for a small business owner involves choosing a suitable retirement plan like solo 401k, self-employed IRA or SEP, simple IRA, setting goals and managing the business's value to create a comprehensive retirement strategy that addresses irregular income and tax considerations. This planning, including setting up the plan, saving consistently, potentially diversifying assets beyond the business, and strategizing for a smooth transition, which might involve selling the business or becoming a passive investor. First paragraph, how many of y'all are doing that or setting up it? What is the second most significant marketing strategy over than social media? I would say word of mouth, my friend. And social media is really just digitizing word of mouth. But I would say word of mouth is still the most powerful and effective advertising. Next, having people who can go out and spread the word about work you've already done, I would argue is the top next marketing strategy in my opinion. All right. So choosing a retirement plan. This is big because a lot of y'all as business owners and side hustlers don't even know there's retirement plans available. So choosing a retirement plan, a lot of y'all don't know, but there's solo 401ks. These are ideal for self-employed individuals or businesses with a spouse as the only employee, as it allows for higher contribution limits up to $69,000 as of 2024. Imagine being able to put $69,000 up a year, from your solopreneur business. That's crazy work. Like imagine maybe you got your business to the point where you're making $150,000, $200,000 a year, and you can afford to put up $70,000 of that towards retirement. That's crazy. And get tax benefits to come along with that because the solo 401k also circles back to you as an employee, as an employer, and gives you tax benefits. Crazy. SEP IRA or simplified employee pension, a simple and popular option ideal for businesses with few employees where the owner makes all the contributions. Simple IRA, a good choice for small businesses with fewer than 100 employees, offering a middle ground between a SEP IRA and a solo 401k. Traditional and Roth IRAs can be used as a supplementary account to primary business plan. So because there's lower contribution levels, because for that reason, those are going to be more supplement. You can only put about $7,000 a year at the time of this recording into your traditional or Roth IRAs. That is not, it'll take you a literally long time to put that goose egg up and get that money to grow. But you want them to supplement once you've maxed out like a solo 401k or a SEP IRA. You got the big boy going. You got some overhang left or some excess left. You want to use your IRAs. Defined benefit plans, a pension style plan that can be a strong option for an established business owner with a high and stable income. So those are the options, right? Solo 401k, SEP IRA, simple IRA, traditional and Roth IRAs, defined benefit plan. Key strategies. This is important because a lot of y'all don't even consider strategies for retirement planning as business owners. Of course, Harold, I got you to the best of my ability. If I don't know, I'm gonna let you know. But if I got it, I'm gonna let you know. Contribute consistently. Treat retirement savings as a non-negotiable budget item and save as much as possible, taking advantage of catch-up contributions if you are 50 and older. Very important. Address irregular income. Address irregular income. Contribute a flexible budget that accounts for fluctuations in income and build contingency funds. How do you like that word? Contingency funds. Diversify assets. Avoid investing all your money back into the business. This is another one that people get caught short with. Spreading your investments across the different assets can help manage risk and increase potential returns. One of my business clients is a photographer by trade, and I believe maybe like a videographer. He has a very successful business. He does somewhere between 100 and 150,000 a year, pretty much as a solopreneur, which is very impressive. He and I have been working together for about 2.5 years. And one of his biggest focus points is saying, man, I can't do the work in my photography business on the philanthropic side, meaning where I'm basically doing free work or helping people out. And I have to take certain higher paying gigs that I might not normally deal with because I don't have any other way to generate income. So to put context on diversified assets, he and I are talking about and have been talking about, what if you owned a funeral properties? What if you owned a small franchise? What if you own commercial real estate, where you were doing your work at and were renting other portions out, and you could afford to diversify your income streams and do more free work, as well as be pickier about the jobs you take because you're not just relying on your business to feed you. That is an example of the value of diversified assets. Plan your business exit. We suck at this. Decide early on your exit strategy, whether it's selling the business or transitioning to a passive role, which is keeping the business alive, but step into the side of operations, as this will significantly impact your retirement income. Plan accordingly. How are you going to get out of this one day? Consider taxes. Plan for taxes on your retirement withdrawals and explore options like Roth conversions or using tax advantage accounts strategically to manage your tax exposure. To cap this all off, seek professional guidance. Wow, that's revolutionary. Seek professional guidance. Stop trying to wear all the hats as a business owner. Stop trying to have all of the answers. Stop being your own banker, bookkeeper, accountant, legal person, and insurance professional, and the operator of the business. Stop being that person. Build relationships, build valuable relationships, and hire professionals and build a team. Consult an expert. It is highly recommended to work with a financial or tax professional to determine the best plan for your specific situation to ensure it aligns with your long-term goals. Stay organized. Keep track of your plan documents and account statements for tax purposes to review for your progress. That is the magic pillars, my friend. Contingency funds are of the most significant, assuredly. Even the government maintains contingency funds as happens. Yes, I don't know how well our government does at maintaining contingency funds in today's world, but generally speaking, that is 100% correct, good sir. Have you ever went over HSA yet? I like to max out my Roth, then HSA. I have talked a lot about Roths and traditionals and IRAs and 401ks. I have not dove in on HSAs as much. I talked about them in a video I did that was going over your basically like financial order of operations. I had a video that I did in the last month or two. I went over financial order of operations, and I think I stuck HSA in there. I briefly covered it. But to answer your question directly, I have not done an extensive deep dive on HSAs. But I'm gonna keep that in mind for you. Because it is a very fun, very, very useful tool with a three-pronged tax benefit for sure. So any questions, feedback, or thoughts on this? This live stream went a little longer than I was planning, but that's because it went really well and y'all were extremely engaging. Do you have any questions, thoughts, feedback, or concern? I know I got other experts in the building. Credit Cousin, you're going to end up cracking me over the head because I am overdue to get you on and collaborate with you. I genuinely have had time constraint issues. It is not me fumbling on my word as much, but I owe you that. Credit Cousin, for those of you who are not familiar, is in the chat. He's also what I would consider a finance expert and has his own YouTube channel that's doing very well. Any questions or feedback or thoughts? HSAs are important as medical debt is going back on credit reports, except here in the state of New York. Man, that is a huge comment. That is a huge comment because everybody was just getting away from medical debt, backfiring and kicking them behind on their credit report. So great highlight, Harold. Any feedback, thoughts, questions, concerns, anything extra y'all got? Anything extra that y'all have before we wrap this up? Y'all have been tremendous as always on these live streams, tuning in. I hope that y'all can get this out to people who are doing trades work, thinking about trades work. Hell, if you connected enough, bring this information to trade schools because they need people like me talking about this stuff. They need people like me talking about this stuff. I really plan on trying to tap into that as a banker, like finding these schools and connecting and presenting and talking and, or at least getting my content to them because it is such an opportunity here now and in the future for trades work. It directly impacts us as Black and brown Americans that have normally been on the back end of these wealth transfers and opportunities as they come. We're usually not the first ones to get access to it. But for a change, this is an opportunity for those of us that are already used to blue collar work and trades work to really make money and build something substantive. So I hope this content gets out to more people. Please share it, y'all. Please share it. Share all of the damn videos that I put out because they're just like this. But share it. Share it with people who are in this line of work that you know are going to be in this line of work, that are thinking about this line of work, because this will give them the vision, the hope, the inspiration, and a little framework that they can take this and make it into something. They can take it and make it into something. So please take the time out to share this video, not just to support the channel. Of course, like, comment, share, subscribe to support the channel so the channel can keep supporting you. But do this to support the people who need access to this content, y'all. Because there's a lot of people out there right now doing trade work that is lost when it comes to their finances. And there's a lot of them going to be going into it that are going to be lost. And I need y'all to get this out to them. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up? Because I'm about to get out of here. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I genuinely do. Y'all are the real ones in the building. Like, y'all really tune in, show up, communicate. You're like engage, ask real questions, give supportive comments. Y'all are the real ones. I say it on my live streams every time because y'all really making it into what it is. So I shout out to every single one of y'all that come in the building, man. I really appreciate y'all. Every single one of y'all. Y'all know that. And the ones that's been around, y'all know that because I respond to every comment. I engage with y'all like we've been friends for 20 years, and that's genuine. It's real. So I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all go back on the replay and like the video, leave a comment on the video on the replay. Harold Fee, you do a tremendous job at that. Credit Cousin does a tremendous job at that. Go back and support the live stream after because YouTube does not really honor the watch hours or any of that until after the video is uploaded and posted. So y'all go back and support the video on the back end. But other than that, to all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. I want each and every one of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.